Now, everyone's making it in film and TV, but we don't really know how. Here, we uncover the truth. Welcome to the Your Cinema podcast. Welcome to the Your Cinema podcast this week. It's the place where we explore the truth about film, TV, and theatre and hear it directly from those who are smashing it in their areas. Today, we've got a critically acclaimed actor. Studied at RADA. He's been at the National Theatre twice, the Royal Shakespeare Company. He's been in Macbeth, Barbershop Chronicles, Death of England, Henry VI, and the amazing and widely regarded Layman trilogy, as well as being in Top Boy, You Don't Know Me, and other shows. I introduce to you Michael Balogun. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Can't complain. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm healthy. You know, beginning of the year, fresh start. You know, I actually can't complain, man. You know, life could be a lot worse.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Now, you are really making waves, right? And you have been for some time. So I actually want to take it back to the start for you. So like picture yourself, right? Like you've just finished studying at RADA, you're fresh out of drama school, which is a huge experience in itself, right? Because RADA's like one of the best in the world. What is it like landing your first play after being in that institution that's gearing you up?
Yeah, that's a really good question, man, because I'm not gonna lie, I was, you know, shitting myself to put, you know, for want of a better word, because of my background and everything, you know, I kept thinking if I don't get an acting gig quickly, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Do you get what I'm saying? So there was a kind of real deep fear about, you know, leaving this institution that was kind of home for 3 years. Kind of, you know, it's like leaving school, innit? There's a kind of fear about what lies beyond the horizon, innit? What's gonna happen after this? Because, you know, I don't know the future, right?
Yeah.
So there's a kind of surrendering to like the uncertainty of things that you have to kind of accept. Do you get what I mean? But for me, I kind of told myself, I remember specifically a day when we were all sat around in a circle, my year group.
Yeah.
And like, you know, everyone was talking about their concerns and and obviously, you know, I've got a very different set of concerns than most people there. So I'm thinking like, listen, I don't know what I'm going to do, because as far as I'm concerned, I can't, you know, for reasons that I'm sure people are aware of, I can't just go and get a normal job like that easily, you know? See what I'm saying to you? So there's all of these concerns, right? But because of the way, as luck would have it, you know, I don't know what it is, man, but like, so what? Do you want me to talk about my first gig? How I got that?
Yeah.
This is one for the listeners to take note on this one here, yeah, because this is a bit unorthodox, yeah, and I wouldn't advise this to everyone, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So basically, I'm at RADA. You know, I've been seeing all the brilliant shows that have been in the West End, and you know, at the time, and one play that I went to see was People, Places, and Things. Yeah. Do you remember? Have you seen? Did you see it?
No. But I researched it. Yes. Yeah.
And it's a piece about an actress who ends up in therapy because of drug addiction and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. You know, my background. Yes, you know, I've been in therapy. I know those kind of institutions very, very well. Yeah. So when I saw this play, I was just quite surprised at how this woman was letting go. You know, I was just not surprised, but I was impressed by how much this woman on stage it was fully embodied. It was like, do you know what I mean? It was in her toenails, this character, and this, whatever this character wanted. So I loved the play, and I always thought there was a character in it that I always thought, you know, if this play ever come back, I'd love to play that part there. Do you know what I mean? I just thought it. Let go of the idea. Boom. Anyway, I'm at RADA. We're all in a class. Last year, we're all kind of, you know, we're all trying to get an agent. We're all, you know, my friend Amy from Sex Education, if anyone watches it, she's come back and she's like, I just got my first gig. And I was like, rah. Obviously, like, everyone's like, what? Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, what is it? What gig? She's like, People, Places, and Things. I'm like, what? They're doing that again? She's like, yeah, they're doing a tour. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Give me all the details that you can give me that, you know, Give me the cast director's name. Give me all the details, the emails. And Amy being Amy, she gave it to me. She gave it all to me. Yeah. So I put it in my notes on my phone. I've put all this stuff in my notes on my phone, right? Boom. Close the phone. Boom. Whatever. Anyway, 2 days later, my agent has sent me on for a general meeting to meet with a casting director. When I met them, we spoke. It was all good. I left. You know, like when you leave a meeting, you're feeling really energized, enthusiastic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything's feeling nice. So anyway, I go back to RADA, and I've rented a room in RADA Studios to just work on a monologue that I was working on. But when I went to the desk to book the room, there was a woman at the desk. And she's like, "Hi, guys. My name's Lottie Hines. I'm here for the auditions." But that name, Lottie Hines, I was like, why do I know that name? Why do I know that name? And I thought, auditions? What auditions are you doing here? Anyway, I just read it off. Went upstairs, I'm doing my thing, learning this monologue. Come backstairs, I'm having a cigarette outside. A guy that I know turns up. He's like, "Well, mate." I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I've got an audition." I was like, "What for?" He's like, "People, places, and things." I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" So boom, now I've pulled my phone out. I've gone back to the notes that I made. I'm like, let me check something. Lottie Hines, the name that all the details are there. Yeah. So I'm going, fuck. Like me, I'm a little bit of a romantic in it. I'm like, this is a sign.
Yeah. Straight. Yeah.
Right, so I went up. Listen, bro. Like I said to you, I'm a bit, So what I've done is I've gone to the woman on the desk who knew me. I've gone, listen, I'm gonna hide behind this desk. Yeah, I'm gonna hide behind this desk so I can see the CCTV in the corner, in it. Yeah, and when they come out of that room, I'm gonna strategically walk out like, "Oh, guys, so do you know what I mean?" Yeah. Because I'm thinking I need to catch them before they leave, and I want to, like, do you know what I mean? I don't know what I don't know how this is gonna work, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've done that. I'm hiding behind the desk. I've seen them come out. The woman, Lottie Hines, and this director, Holly Race Rogan. That's her name. Yeah, lovely woman, lovely people in it. So I've stopped them. I've come out. You know what I'm saying, guys? I've got my phone ready. I'm like, guys, I'm not crazy. Look, just so you know, I didn't want to think I was a madman. I've trained at RADA. Yeah. And this is what happens when your back's against the wall. Like, I didn't have a choice. Yeah, I'm like, I trained at RADA. Amy got cast. Who you've just cast. I'm telling you now, this play I'm meant to be in it. Yeah. So they're looking at me like, this is a bit cheeky, but at the same time, this guy's talking with a lot of conviction. You know what? The woman went. She went. You know what? She went. Have you got 10 minutes now? So I'm like, raw. I'm like, yeah. I'm just saying yes, innit? They always tell you just say yes, just say yes. So I'm like, yeah. They're like, come, let's do it. Right, here's the side. You got 5 minutes. Go in that corner, have a read, come back. So, bro, I'm like, my heart is pounding. I'm like, I'm not even prepped. I'm in the room. I'm actually doing an audition now. Do you know what I mean? But long story short, she, like, I was doing it. She kept changing it. She kept, well, let's try it like this. Let's try it like that. Let's try it like this. Let's try it like that. We did it about 9 times, bro. We was in there for time. Yeah? Time. So, obviously, now I know those are good signs. But at the time, I was like, fuck, I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
Long story short, 2 weeks later, I get an email from my agent saying they want to offer you the role. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first job out of drama school. And if I'm, since then, I've kind of not really stopped apart from COVID. Do you get what I mean?
Wow.
Obviously, there's been gaps in between jobs here and there, but God, I like to call it God or, the universe or whatever. Something's been really watching out for me, innit?
Wow. I love that, man. I love that. So, right, you've come out, you've landed a role in this play that you wanted to be in, right? And which is good. And you're working now. On your CV, you've got the National Theatre, right? So I want to know what it's like going from cool. I guess the first thing is like, I want to get some sort of role or job in it. But now you're working, but then you get a role at the National Theatre. What is that like?
Yeah, I think because bearing in mind, like, without going too deep into it, my route into acting was so unorthodox. I didn't know about all these things before I started training at RADA.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Which I think has its benefits, has its positives and its negatives. Because I remember the audition I had for Macbeth at the National Theatre, yeah? And when I went in that room, Rufus Norris, who's the artistic director, sat there. I didn't know who he was. I was like, I'm coming here to play. I'm coming here to do my thing and bounce. I'm not here to I'm not here to kiss any ass.
Yeah.
I'm not here to, you know. And I think me not knowing who he was and not knowing the kind of position that this theatre has in terms of theatre in London, really worked for me, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? So obviously I knew what the National Theatre was. I'm a big fan of Macbeth. I know who Rory Kinnear is and Anne-Marie Duff, the people that were playing the leads.
Yeah.
So for me, this was like, I mean, I was playing the Doctor, which isn't a massive part.
Yeah.
But I remember, people that know Macbeth, they know that part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They remember that part.
Yeah.
And mate, like, I'll be honest with you, man, like when I got the call to say I got that job, it was quite big for me, man. I was like, wow, here I am at the National Theatre, like, you know, and the National Theatre, like, you know, it's not, well, from my experience, I love the place because I've done I've worked with them a lot in many different times. Yeah, I've worked, you know, even People, Places and Things is a National Theatre production.
I got you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, Macbeth, I did Macbeth there. I did Barbershop Chronicles on tour. That's another national production, you know. Death of England. We're getting to get to that, but that reopened the National after lockdown. You know what I'm saying? So the National Theatre, and another thing is because Rufus was actually directing that play. Yeah, I've got a very soft spot in my heart for Rufus Norris because that man, when I came in the room, I mean, I was mad anxious. I was like, fuck, you know, the National Theatre, we're doing a show there. All that kind of stuff was going on in the back of my head, innit? And he kind of made it a thing to connect with me, you know, in this space. And you know, there's a couple of times he'd be like, Mike, what are you doing for lunch? Let's have lunch. Just on a, you know what I'm saying? And we'd go up and we'd talk. I mean, and he told me certain things about his life, you know, how he spent a lot of time in Nigeria as a child, you know, and then was really big in terms of like the social housing scene, setting up cooperatives back in the 50s, like this. And I'm saying to you, so some of his politics, I was like, raw, I would never have thought that. Yeah. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
And Rufus Norris is actually a really, really warm soul. He's actually a really warm soul. I mean, when you look at him, he's got quite steely eyes. So you can misinterpret that as, you know, some kind of arrogance or ego. But he's actually one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. And he's leaving pretty soon. So it's going to be a big shame. Although I'm sure the new person's going to do great. But Rufus Norris is a beautiful soul. And that guy helped me in my career a lot.
You seem to have had like a really nice relationship and experience with the industry since you started, which is, do you know what, it's pleasant to hear, because a lot of the times, and it might not be the case, but I'm just drawing from like what you're saying. Yeah, it's quite interesting because a lot of people have varied experiences where it's like they're not working and it was terrible, or not terrible, but it was like really hard, but they know that's how it is, and then they get a job, or you know, someone starts out the gate and it's going really well and then there's a lull.
You know what, that's a good point, you know. And listen, bro, I mean, I'm very, very lucky. I'm a very lucky person, man. Like, you know, I shouldn't really be sitting here talking to you. I should be in a grave, if I'm going to be real. I'm lucky. I've had a lot of lucky moments in my life, and like a lot of touches. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. So,
but at the same time, when I look back over my life, like, you have a kind of, you as a person, it doesn't matter whether you're an actor, whatever role, whatever your life is like, you have a say on that luck, innit? You have an influence on it. Do you get what I mean? Yep. And that, you know, as actors, you've got to be aware of that. You've got to be conscious of how you look at the world. You have to be. Do you get what I mean? And I remember I was listening, you know those SAG interviews?
No. But is it like variety where it's like the round tables and...
A little bit like that, but it's like one-on-one, you know.
Okay.
So there'll be a woman interviewing, and this particular one I was watching was Gary Oldman, right?
Yeah.
And I never, ever, ever forget this, yeah? The woman said to Gary, she's like, Gary, you know, what was it like for you when you left drama school and you had to work in some bars and restaurants and, you know, what was that like? And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never really done that. Remember, Gary Oldman's working class from South London and that, you know what I mean? He's like, what do you mean? He was like, he went, listen, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I remember I was at drama school and the first thing they said to us was, if you can do anything else with your life, go and do that. Yeah? And they were kind of setting us up for this mind state where you're kind of not sure, right? And he went, that don't make no sense to me. Why would I go into this industry? I've just started going in half thinking that it's not going to work. Why am I here then? Yeah? Now, don't get me wrong. I see the sense in what those people were trying to advise him. But I'm of his mind state.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because, and then what he said he did, and he went, and then he goes, so what I did was I went away and I did everything in my power to prevent that outcome. You know? So I started emailing every cast and I can get my hands on, emailing every agent from second year. They're not even doing shows yet. He's already doing that. He's on it. Yeah? Because, and lo and behold, he left drama school and he's going out, you know, the Gary Oldman that's won Oscar awards, BAFTAs, everything, right? And I've thought about that story many times, and it's about putting your back against the wall. Like, I'm not middle class, bro. I don't have that inheritance.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have that inheritance check. I don't have the house in fucking Devon or whatever it is, or you know, family in Kent. But we don't have that. So you know, I'm not coming at this like, ooh. I'm coming at this. I've got to get in. I've got to. Like, there's no. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've got that in me. I'm from the road. I'm from, I mean, working class background, grinding, struggling, striving. So we come into these things and we act up. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have that security. You know what I'm saying to you? So I might not sleep as well as you, but best believe, I mean, Will Smith says his thing in it. I ain't getting off that treadmill, bro. Me and you get on that treadmill, you're getting off before me. No doubt about that. Do you get what I mean, though?
I hear you.
We get on that treadmill, you're getting off, not me.
Wow.
You get my point?
Yeah, I do. 100%. And you know what? It's worked out for you. Like I was saying, in terms of like not having to really like do that balance. And you know what? The only other person I can think of that has said I've been working ever since, right? Really, or just like talks about always working, is Ashley Waters. That's the only. I'm sure there's probably others, but in terms of like, that's something that he said to me a few times. Like, yeah, like I've just been always working. He's always working.
You know what though? To be honest with you as well, now listen, like I don't want that to sound arrogant. You get me?
Yeah.
Like there's not, like I'm not knocking people that work in other jobs and do other stuff. You know, like yes, there's been moments where I haven't worked.
Yeah.
There's been moments where I've, you know, I've been doing a lot of workshops.
Yeah.
Or, you know, that kind of stuff that still ties in. But what I mean is like, I've been blessed. I don't know. I think it's a lot to do with the timing.
Yeah.
You know, where the industry was when I graduated. All of those things have had an effect, and I've been quite blessed to kind of cut through. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, but that's what I meant to say is that I think that, how can I explain it? It's almost like, listen, I can go deep. What I'm saying is that I've been blessed in that sense. I haven't had to do the mad thing while I've been doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's to do with the stuff that went on in my life before, or just how I am, or there's so many elements to it. But I'm not knocking, you know, the other stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I'm not knocking anyone. Do you know what I mean? People don't realize this game is hard. Yeah. Like, you know, you step back from it and look at it in its reality. There's only ever 1% of people working at one time. There's only a certain amount of jobs. So that means there's 99 people, you know, 99% of actors are not working, right? And that's a big, big thing. And that's not easy. You know, it's not easy looking at someone and they're going, well, how comes you got it? How comes you're always working? Or when you don't see someone for a long time and they're like, you know, I see someone in the street and they're like, oh, how's it going? What you got next? You know, what's next? It's like, I get it. I get it, man. I get it. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, industry's not fair. It's not fair in it, but there are things that you can do to help.
Yeah. That's the point. Like when you saw that opportunity with Lottie, the tenacity.
You gotta be bold, man. This industry, listen, don't like you could be the best actor in the world. You've got to be brave. You've got to be brave in this. Like, you get one life. That's it. You don't get another crack at this. That's it. Once that heart stops beating, you'll get out. That's it. I don't know what's on the other side. You know, I don't know that. I can't tell you. But what I do know is you get one life, one crack at the whip. So there's no point sitting down worrying about what tomorrow brings. Like, that's literally a waste of your imagination. Why are you sitting down imagining what could happen bad? That's you doing that. I could just imagine what can happen good. You know, I mean, it sounds mad, but it's very simple. If you're sitting down worrying, what if I don't work? I'm not knocking it. I do it sometimes. But I spend more time trying to imagine what I do want to do. Do you get what I mean?
The
waste of your imagination. Like, bro, I'm a strong believer. I think your imagination is a connection to something else.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. I think your imagination is the eye of your soul. That's the eyes of your soul. You know, when you're thinking in your head, that's your soul speaking to yourself. Yeah. So I need that to be good. Because, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. I sit in my flat now. I'm looking around. I imagined all of this. I imagined it. I live in Camden. I remember I was walking along Tottenham Court Road. Yeah. I was at RADA. I was by myself. And I was walking. I said, you know what? I want to do a show in the West End. And I want to live around here. Yeah. I can walk down to that road I just told you about in 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. Then that's not me going, I live in Camden. But it doesn't matter. I'm living in a one-bedroom flat. It's a minor. What I'm saying is that I imagine this. Do you get what I mean? I imagined a lot of the stuff that I've done. I've imagined. It's just reality. So what are you imagining? You know, where does your baseline go? Because where does your baseline in terms of like how you think go? Where does that, like, if you strip away all of your, like, if you strip away all the external stuff, where does your baseline sit when you're just sat down alone? Does it go negative or does it go positive? Do you get what I mean? Yep. In an industry like this, people don't realize it, how much part you play in it. You know, you can sit at home and wait for the phone to ring. Yeah, that's cool. But you've got to understand that, you know, what's going to happen for you is going to be determined a lot by how you think about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's just in life. Forget about acting. That's with everything. Do you get what I'm saying?
I love that. I agree. And I believe the same thing, mate. So like touching on the like wealth of experience that you've had within theatre, right? What is like a typical day like when you've got like a show on? Because I guess some days you're gonna have like 2 shows in a day. Like, if you finish late, do you get time to rest? Like, can you actually have a life while a play's on? Like, what's your day to day like?
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting because you know, I've done a lot of plays on tour, which is a very different experience to doing a play in London, like, you know. And I think so. A typical day is, you know, you wake up. You're probably waking up a bit later because you probably did a show the night before.
Okay, yeah.
You wake up and you're at home, you're chilling, but you know in the back of your mind, I've got to be leaving this house about 3-4 o'clock, get to the theatre around 5. You know, I like to do a really extensive warm-up.
Okay.
You know, I'll do a full body warm-up, could take an hour and a bit.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm kind of getting my mind and my soul from that point forward. I'm kind of like trying to connect back in with the play and with the story that we're telling. You know, in terms of a typical day, you know, you're going to have lunch. Like, you know, you can't do anything mad that day because if it's going to affect the show later, it could be a problem. You know, when you're doing a West End show like Lehman, I know they were taking like $500,000 a week on the box office. So like you can't afford to not be there. Do you get what I mean?
And that's a
Like,
3-man play, isn't it?
yeah, you know, 500,000. I'm not sure, 500,000 a week. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm getting my figures mixed up, but they're taking a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Straight.
So
There's
like,
nowhere to hide.
there's nowhere to hide. There's
Mm.
nowhere to hide. Like, there's people coming to see this thing. Like, they're coming to watch, and they're paying a lot of money, and they want to be impressed. Yeah. So you can't. You better make sure you're ready to go. Yeah. So I'd get in a bit earlier, 4 or 5. Have a warm up, get some food in me.
Yeah.
Just so that the energy levels are right for the show.
Yeah.
Because Lehman was quite a demanding piece.
Okay.
Yeah. It's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
So 3 of us. There's a lot of long monologues.
Really?
Long. Plus we're multi-rolling, so we're all playing like 20 characters. Mate. And the show doesn't. There's never a moment on that stage where we stop. It's constant. The only time we stop are at intervals, and the stage is revolving. So when I say that line from this position, you need to be able to receive it, take that, to hit your mark there. Then you pick up that box, you move that box. Like, bro, it's technical, yeah. But like, I know that having done that play, no play can ever scare me ever again. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the benefit. Like that, Sam Mendes, Oscar winner, BAFTA, like you know what I mean? In terms of English directors, he's up there, probably top 3, probably top 2. Do you mean? So I'm working with Sam Mendes, like it's like, wow, this is the pinnacle of theatre now. Yeah. You see what I'm saying to you? This ain't no. And like, even the show itself, the Lehman trilogy, and the subject matters and what it was about and all that kind of stuff. These are all big things. And you know what I'm saying to you. So yeah, I just thought, I think, day in the life, you probably warm up, get something to eat clean, eat well, make sure that you're taking your vitamin C, make sure you're eating your fruits, you're drinking enough water. I like to warm up. Not all actors do.
Okay.
And then the show goes on, and then 3 hours you're in this kind of imaginary state. You're in a state. Do you get what I mean? So it's like time flies by quickly. You're trying to stay on top of the show. Sometimes things can go wrong, especially in a play like that. Someone drives and like what I mean. If they don't say that line, then you can't say your line, and then what I mean. Like that happened a couple of times. Do you get what I mean?
Wow.
So that's the day in the life. And then you do that every day, Monday to Friday. Then Saturday, you have 2 shows. So Saturday, you'll have a matinee, and then you'll have an evening performance.
Okay.
And then maybe one day in the week, sometimes we had 2 shows as well. And 2 show days.
What's a matinee like on a show like Lehman? Because that's 3 hours.
I mean, mate. The funny thing is, funny enough, normally with matinee audiences, you tend to get a lot of older people.
Okay.
That can't really get to the theatre in the evening for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I think maybe because it was the West End and it was Saturday, with Lehman, that never really happened. It's got like, it's just like any other audience. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, matinees normally kick off about 2:30, 3 hour show, brings us to 5, 2 hour break, next show's at 7. But on a matinee day, I wouldn't warm up because the matinee would be my kind of warm up.
Okay, I got you.
So like, and I guess because everything's so fresh, you've just done a matinee, those Saturday evening ones tend to bang.
Okay.
I mean, though.
Yeah.
Tend to bang because it's like you've got it, you've already done it that day. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow. All right. Thank you for that. So like, in and amongst, like, especially like when you've got a show on, can you still audition for other work whilst you're in that process?
Yeah. So like, I personally don't like to look at other stuff until I've got the show under my belt.
Okay.
I hate it. My agent will send me tapes and stuff, and I'm not even finished rehearsing, and I'm like, I've got a thing. Don't send me anything until after press night. Because I think it's just unfair. Like, why am I thinking about other? I'm like, especially with theatre. I think with screen it's a whole different thing, but with theatre, like, how can I explain it? For me, it's like you got the writer, you've got his play, So you got the writer, you got the play, you got the director, you got the other actors, you got the space. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got me, I've got my mind, my body, my soul. Like when we get in that room, it's like I feel like I'm on a mission. It's almost like,
Yeah.
like we're the chosen ones.
Yeah.
And like, it's that part in the movie where we're all sat around going, right, the 18.
Yeah.
It's that moment before they make the new thing, what they do, and they like, you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. And there's a spiritual thing going on, man. I'm sorry, but people, there's a spiritual thing about acting. For me, anyway, it's like church.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I go and watch a play, I don't like to see. I'm not a big fan. If it's, I know it sounds a bit mad, but I like plays where it's gonna get uncomfortable. It's gonna get dirty. I call it red wine. You know what I mean? I call it red wine. I like red wine. I want to see people turning themselves inside out. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not into all this happy shit. Like, fair enough, there's a space for that. But when I go to the theater, I want to leave thinking, wow. Do you get what I mean?
Yep.
I want to leave moved. I want to be changed. I want to learn something. I'm not saying it has to be all trauma, but I want to learn something, man. I want to be challenged. I want to ask myself some questions. I want to go away and Google something. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to just leave and be like, okay, yeah, that was great. Right, what are we getting to eat? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to be like, guys, I'm so sorry, I've got to go. They're going to think, what happened to Michael? But I'm at home like, staying up late, like, fucking hell, who wrote this play? Who said it? Who? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah? Wow. Like that, that's how I want to feel. Yeah. So when I get on a stage, I want people to feel that. Now, there's different ways of looking at a play and storytelling, right? I'm not the kind of person that goes, what does the audience want? It's none of my business. You've come to see this show, and I'm going to tell you the story my way. If you like it, that's great. If you don't, that's life. I'm not here to kind of cater to the audience, bro. I don't think that makes sense. It's art. Do you get what I mean? Da Vinci weren't painting that picture for the audience. He just painted it, and you go there and you see what you see. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I've been in some directors like, the audience. I'm like, bruv, like the audience are coming to watch, bruv. Like, well, sorry, let me calm down.
Be you.
I get back to it, bro. I get back to it. Like the audience are coming to watch. They're coming to observe. So why are we trying to make choices? We don't know. The audience changes day to day.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean? Yep. All I can do is I'm trying to tell you this story and present this character in the most truthful, honest way I possibly can. That's all I can do. If it says in that, when I go through that script and it says this character, is this, I'm trying to be that. I'm not trying to give you an impression of it. I'm using my mind, body, and soul. And I'm praying to God, just to keep his eye on, man. And I'm trying to go there. Yeah. I'm trying to. I might not reach that height every time, but I'm always trying to reach that point. Because then you're on something, then you're operating in a different frequency. Then you're kind of, to me, when you surrender, especially with any role, like acting wise, you surrender, you let go of all the what ifs, you shut down the inner voice and you just surrender to the moment. That's the closest thing I think you get to like I don't know, for me anyway. There's been things that I've done where I've gone, something else was involved there. It wasn't just me. There was something else, getting involved in that. You get what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
And that, I'm sure other people feel it in other professions.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like no drug, no alcohol, no girls, no money, nothing can beat that feeling that you get when you're in that state where you're on the cusp of your kind of subconscious and whatever's on the other side of that. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing can beat that, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like you can get that feeling once, G, you spend the rest of your life trying to feel it again.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. That's amazing because like you're sounding like a true artist. That like the phrase of like what a true artist is, where it's like every time you're trying to do the best with every toolkit and resource that's available to you. I'm like, you really love theater. which is
I love it, man. I do love it. And but the thing is, you know what it is? You've got to remember as well that when you go to these, I'm not so sure about identity, but drama schools. I mean, I think a lot of stuff has changed, like post-COVID, right?
Yeah.
But the training for drama schools before was theatre. Yeah, that's how you're trained. You're not trained really. When I was at Rotherham 2014 to 2017, you know, we didn't really do much screen. You know, there was a little film module, but you know, that teacher was, you know, I don't think he was any good. Sorry to say, but you know, but our training was about theatre. You know, physical training, movement training, voice training, how to project, how to, you know what I'm saying to you, voice training, plays. We're looking at plays. We're looking at Greek theatre. We're looking at Shakespeare. We're looking at Jacobean theatre. We're looking at contemporary playwrights. We're looking at plays. Yeah. And, you know, there's an argument that once you've done a few, you know, theatre training is the best training for any acting, yeah? And I think that's true, but I also think it's also kind of not true.
Okay.
Weirdly, it's kind of a bit of a paradox because there's certain things about being on a set that you just need to know.
I hear you.
There's certain things about screen that you know, like you could do a million plays till you're blue in the face, mate. It's not going to change. Like, you need to know where to stand, brother. You need to know that this ain't a close. This is a close up. So you doing all of that, you're doing too much. I mean, my leech. You get me? On a close up, it's not going to work, bro. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? So you're trying to do the mad Shakespeare monologues when you're doing a scene from the bill. That acting's not gonna. You know what I mean?
Yeah, straight.
You know what I'm saying? So there's things that you just have to learn on the job. But, and I could go on about this for days, but in terms of what is useful, like, you got to remember that, you know, doing a play or, you know, any kind of acting, it requires a level of awareness. And it requires a level of focus. Yeah? You're doing a play for 3 hours. You're telling a story from this point to this point. Yeah. In that 3 hours time, in order for that audience to zone in, we have to zone in. We have to zone in. Otherwise, there's nothing for them to watch.
Yeah.
If we're not zoned in, then we're just doing it. The energy, everything, the audience, you know, I don't know if you've been to the theatre, but there's an experience where you go to theatre and they're not zoned in and you're like you're watching it and, you know, it might look great. But then you're thinking, shit, what am I going to put in the oven tonight? Fuck, I forgot to fucking phone my man about. Oh, shit, sorry. Oh, yeah, yeah. You can't zone in. But when you zone in, yeah, there's nowhere else for the audience to go. They go, it's like, do you get what I mean? Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, see that zoning in I'm talking about? You need that for screen. You need that. Look, I've zoned, like, Lehman was 3 hours long. I zoned in 3 hours. Couple of intervals, 3 hours zoned. No take you do is going to be longer than 5 minutes, max. Yeah? Do you get my point?
Yeah.
So when you can zone, when you've learned how to zone in for 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour, action, cut. You see my point?
Yeah.
Just that alone. Because you think that's a small thing, but it's not. Because I've seen some actors on set and they can't zone in. Action, they're all over the shop. Cut. Chris, what are you doing, man? Oh, no, sorry. No. Let's go again. Action. No. Now, don't get me wrong. We're human. We get nervous. I've had some howlers on set and on stage. Yeah, so I'm the first person to admit that. But you've got to be able to zone in. That's like 101. To be able to focus and concentrate on what's happening in this scene in order for it to become alive. Do you get what I mean?
Yep.
Concentration. You know, as actors, you know, like, it's really hard in this day and age with what's going on in the world, social media, the news, all this stuff, you know, but you've got to be able to do that. And that's why I think that's the big thing about theatre training that I think gets underrated for screen. Yeah. Also as well, like, you know, you can, you know, you start to, you know, theatre training, you you're getting a lot of experience. You're able to. There's another thing we get taught at drama school. You got to put your attention. Me right now. Me and you're having this conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm having this conversation with you, but I'm thinking about, say, like there's an audience watching us, which there probably will be, but I might be nervous, right? So when you're nervous, you start thinking about yourself. Shit, how am I standing? What am I doing with my hands? How's this going on? Da, 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 da. But what you get taught, well, what I got taught at RADA was you put your attention on the other person. You put your focus on that other person. Take it off yourself, yeah? And for screen, the way it's shot, you're often in scenes of just two of you, or there's like that comes into handy. That comes in handy, listening. Instead of listening for cues, you got to really listen. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas like plays and theatre is a lot more about ideas and like, what's being said, words, ideas, beliefs. TV and screen's more about what you see. It's a visual thing. What does it look like? So there has to be a kind of one eye kind of, watching yourself a little bit. Whereas in theatre, you do that, you're fucked. Do you know what I'm saying? You start being conscious of how you look on the stage. The audience are so perceptive, G. They can smell it.
Really?
They can smell it. Any fear on that stage is like they can smell it. It's like the Greek, the gladiators. Opposite head. But the only difference is instead of doing that, they start doing this. Yeah.
Man.
No, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because like it's deep and it's good because you're very tenacious, but you're very well, like, I was gonna say crafted, but like you really have trained and like what's the word? Like the skill set is really there. So when you put that and tenacity together, that is like this is what we have. Do you know what I mean?
I appreciate it, man. It's a nice thing to say to me. But people, drama school, any kind of training is great. It's really good. It gives you a real. Because, mate, when I first started training, bro, I didn't know what I was doing.
Really?
I'd never done any acting in my life. When I went to RADA, bro, I'd never done no acting in my life. The only thing I can remember was the nativity play. I think I was playing one of the three wise men when I was like 5 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I used to sing in the choir as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was a child, but like, yeah, I hadn't done no acting, man. It was just, I just thought, fucking, I want to try this. And lucky enough, I auditioned and I got in. But I'd never done it. But the thing is, when I think about my life before, like, a lot of drama, a lot of dramatic events. There's a kind of, without getting too deep into it, I think when you're living a certain kind of lifestyle, there is a drama to that.
Yeah.
There is a performance element to that. And I think when I realized and I kind of dissected acting, I realized that, oh, okay, most of us have been acting our whole lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But yeah, I didn't know anything. So, like, I hadn't read any plays. So I always felt like I was the kind of odd one out in my year. Because everyone else had all this experience, or they've been doing it since they were 5. And here was me, this guy, with my background, kind of being like, hey, like, and it's RADA as well. So there's all that pressure. I'm thinking, like, have they made a mistake with me? Like, I remember our first ever showing, yeah. And I remember we was doing this play, but I was looking around. I was so aware that I was in a play, and I looked to my right, and I remember looking at the head of acting just staring straight in my face. I remember just looking at him. I remember looking at me like, why the fuck are you looking at me? Get in the play. Do you get what I'm saying? But I was just so green, bro. I was just, you know what I mean? And then like the odd times where I tried to go there.
Yeah.
I think, the kind of backgrounds that people come from, they hadn't met no one like me. So like, I'm doing things, they're like, oh my God. Oh my God, Michael, please. You know what I mean? It's a bit of that's going on. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going, wow, what do you want me to do? Like, if you ever want me to do the thing or you want me to not do the thing, but you get me?
Oh man, you know what? I can't lie, that sounds fun, man. That actually sounds fun. That sounds fun. It probably didn't feel fun in the moment, but there's like a when you're exploring something for the first time, and like it, I'll liken it to something like when I first started like trying to edit something, right? Taking days, hours, da 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 da. But then in that time, you're trying loads of stuff, and you're using things that maybe people that have edited for years or whatever they don't usually use, but you're using it in a quirky way. It's like when hip hop was born, but they're using that vinyl player to like scratch records, and they're like, no, you don't know what you're doing, you're spoiling the stuff. And they're like, nah, but this sounds kind of cool. And then you birth a whole genre off of things like that. So
I mean,
yeah.
trial and error.
No, that's
No, you're so
amazing.
right. That's a good way. That's a good way of looking at it. You can, whole genre gets born out of a mistake.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
some of
yes.
the. I mean, bro, I've come to the realization you can't actually learn without mistakes. You can't. I mean, no, tell a lie. You can learn without mistakes, but your learning can only go so far. You have to make mistakes to really learn a lesson.
I hear you.
Do you get what I mean? You got to be open to that, especially
Yeah.
in this game. You learn from mistakes. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you were saying I've had moments in my career where I've made mistakes, man. I've had moments in my career where I haven't followed my instinct and it's cost me. So yeah, it's not been all rosy, like nothing in life is, but
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I love that. So, a huge opportunity came for you in doing the Death of England, Delroy, when Giles Terrera fell ill, because you were his understudy. Um, now, I haven't really heard this, like what the experience of being an understudy is actually like, but like, yeah, what is it like? Like, how do you stay prepared? Like, all of
Yeah, that's a good question, bro. Listen, bro. I've done it before. I've done understudying before.
Oh, really?
When I did the National Theatre Macbeth,
Yeah.
I was understudying 3 characters, and I went on as all 3 characters at different times. A lot of people that understudy, they'll tell you, you never go on. Nah, you'll never go on. They'll be
Yeah.
fine. Don't worry about that. Da, 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 da. Listen, forget that. Prepare for the worst. Because, brother, when I got that phone call, I was in my yard, chilling, doing a show in London. So, I did the show that night. No, it's Sunday. So that day I was off. So I was getting ready for bed. Between me and you, a few years ago, a friend of mine was saying, do you want to come over? I was about to leave my house and go over there. I get a phone call. Hey, Mike, I'm so sorry, man. I've got shingles. I'm not going to be getting on tomorrow. So, yeah, just letting you know, heads up, you're on.
Wow.
Bro, that feeling of fear that kicks in because you got, like, I mean, you should have learned the lines and you should have a kind of understanding of that person's journey for the show. Luckily, I kind of knew the lines, but I needed to run them. So I told my niece, I was like, I'll give you £30, stay at home, no school today. Let's run these lines all day. I mean, it's a bad thing to do. I'm not a saint. But yeah, he ran the lines with me. So when I went in, I was like, yeah, I know my lines. So like, I couldn't, but it was a madness. So I'm doing a scene on stage and people are like, trying, without saying it, like, yeah, my niece. I mean, go that way, Michael. You get me? But it was nuts. But really big learning experience. Yeah. So with Death of England, what happened was, Giles, who's that without Giles, I don't think I'd be doing what I've done since I did Death of England. So,
And also, this is like a one-man play. So, like, this is you're not just filling in for like a small part. This a one-man play.
yeah.
So if he's not there, you have to do the whole play. Just giving
Well, you
some
know what's funny about that? What's
context.
funny about that, yeah, is we're in lockdown. I'm going through some stuff. I think everybody was going through some stuff.
Yeah.
And I get a phone call from Giles, and he's like, mate, I just read this play, Death of England. I'm going to go and have a chat with them now about it. But Giles said to me, this is no word of a lie, let God strike me down if I'm lying. He said, I think you should do this play, Mike. He said that to me. Yeah? Sends me the play. I've read some of it. I was like, fucking hell, I could do this. I could do this show easy. Yeah, because there's so much stuff in it that I could relate to in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Giles comes back. He's like, look, I spoke to them. You know, it's the National. They want a big name. You know, Giles Hamilton. He's a bigger theatre actor.
Yeah.
Cool, no problem. But Giles was like, I want you to understudy it because I want you in the room. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I wasn't working. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't working. I think I just did a couple of episodes of this TV show, War of the Worlds, on Fox. So nothing major, just a couple of eps, small little part. Got a bit of money in the bank. So now this has popped up. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Had another offer for another play, actually, a Shakespeare with Ian McKellen. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was, you know, a role. That wasn't no understudy, but I don't know why. Giles, you know, the National. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to understudy it. Yeah. And then I remember we go in the room. Clint Dyer's directing. Giles is in there. We're all working. You know, there's a vibe. There's a good energy in the space. It's like, remember, they said there ain't been no plays at the National for years. You know, people are really craving a theatre piece. And obviously, with everything that happened during lockdown with George Floyd and all that kind of stuff, it felt like, yeah, this is an industry that needs to hear some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Especially theatre, particularly in London. You lot need to get it. I don't know if there's ever been a character like Delroy on stage. Do you get what I mean? Like, I don't know if anyone's ever... I don't think there has. You know? On the main stage, the Olivier stage of the National Theatre. It's never been heard of, a play like that. Yeah?
Wow.
So anyway, you know, we're in the room. Giles is rehearsing. I'm sat there. I'm trying to learn lines. I'm rehearsing little bits and bobs. And, yeah, he's doing his thing. But I don't know what it is. There was something inside of me, like, I'm watching everything happening. And I because of my position, you know, during lockdown, and I was sat in my flat by myself for a lot of the time, bro, wondering what I was going to do in my life. Because I was thinking, am I going to ever act again? You know, remember I left the road and got into acting. Yeah. And I remember this was a time where the politicians were putting out these posters of Fatima. Remember that?
Yes.
Girl with the ballerina dress.
Yeah.
In like, oh, maybe I should retrain and do that. But I'm going, I have done that. And this is what I've retrained in. Yeah. I applied for a couple of jobs at Foot Locker. Obviously, it was locked down, but there was applications flying about, you know, when they open. Nothing, bro. Nothing. Because without going too deep into it, you know, I've got quite a few convictions in it. So I can't just go and get a job. I've got to put that bit where it says previous convictions. I'm writing essays in there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know? Because I've already experienced what it's like when you don't mention that and then they find out and then they get rid of you. I've had that experience. You know what I mean? So during lockdown was a difficult time for me, brother. I was really struggling, mental health, everything, yeah? So here's the play, more or less about a guy in his flat during lockdown, like he's struggling about things in his life. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah. So when we're in the room and, you know, Giles is rehearsing, he's probably one of the best. He is probably the best theatre actor I've seen. Because that man has an ability to become he can change his soul almost.
Wow.
You know, he can change it. It's weird. Anyone that's worked with him I've worked with him a couple of times, and this man's got access to parts of himself that the average person doesn't. Yeah? Wow. But this particular one, we're in the room, I'm sat down, you know, trying to watch his moves, what he's doing, and I don't know what it was, but because at the same time, around this period of time, I was trying to move to I was trying to get a new agent.
Okay.
Me and my agent's relationship had like kind of gone up in flames. And she was kind of threatening me with dropping me and stuff like that.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. So, and this is obviously, you know, I'm like, shit. So I'm saying to Charles, look, I need to do at least one of these shows. He's like, Mike, don't worry, I got you. You just tell me when. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
But then I get a phone call out of nowhere. Michael Balogun, can you come in a bit earlier? We want to work on some stuff. I'm going, whoa, hold on a minute. The call was at 3. Why am I coming in early? You know, I've come in early, And I could sense that there was a kind of frantic energy in the air.
Mm.
I could smell fear in the room. There was fear.
Mm.
And I was thinking, what's going on? Anyway, Clint's called it, everyone in silence, bad news. Giles has got appendicitis. That's it. He can't do the show. Cool. So I've just assumed that I'm doing it. So I've tried to, I can see everyone's a bit nervous. So I'm going, you know what? I'm going to be the sacrifice. Guys, everyone chill out. I've got this. We're good. No one's giving me eye contact. So I'm like, well, go on for everyone now. I'm telling them I'm good. I've got this. So he's like, Mike, let's have a chat outside. So I've come outside. He's gone, Mike, bad news. We need a name. We need a name. You're not a big name. We need a name in it. I'm going, bro, like, why am I here? I'm the understudy. That's my job. I'm meant to do the show. Like, he's like, yeah, I know, but, we need a big name. The theatre's been closed for years, lockdown. Giles was in Hamilton. Bro, that feeling was like, oh, wow. All right, cool. Say no more. Gone back in the room. He's gone, do you know what? Let's just run the first few pages or whatever. Yeah. But obviously, I've come back in with that feeling of being shafted.
Yeah.
So, and that first pages is Delroy being shafted, and he's saying how he feels.
Okay. Yeah? All right.
So, bro, I let the demon out. Wow. Yeah. I let it out, and it was fucking good, bro. Like, even I know that. I know that from how people were looking at me. People were like, it was like, it wasn't even good or bad. It was real.
Yes.
It was, this guy's not acting. Yeah. And I wasn't. I mean, and then next day, yeah, Mike, sorry, my mistake. You're doing the show.
Mate.
And like, who knows, man? I don't, maybe he did. Like, I've been yet to ask him. But I think maybe he said that to me to see how I'd react. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that that's impossible. Maybe he just said that because he thought, this guy needs to know the magnitude of this, innit? And it went down really, really well. You see what I'm saying?
And then I guess also there might even be pressure from the national of saying like, nah, we need a name, kind of. I guess.
Well, this is the thing. Well, that's what he said. He said it wasn't him. I'm gonna move this here because I need to put my charger in. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah, that's what he said, and he was like, "It's not me, it's the national." Blah 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 blah. And the thing is, maybe he was right because I remember Rufus came in the room in it to see it, and I did a little piece of it for him. Yeah. And bro, I remember having no fear because I thought, this is a black man. This is me.
Yeah.
Like, no one can't tell me about this character. Even the guy that wrote it, you can't tell me nothing about Delroy. I know Delroy. It's not really me, but I know bare Delroys.
Yeah.
That black guy on the estate who thinks he's white. Yeah. And he speaks like he's Cockney. And you might even go to an EDL march and he's there with them. Yeah. And you're going, what's wrong with you, fool? Do you mean? Or you might catch him in the pub on a Sunday with his brethren and you think, oh yeah, he's one of them. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
But this gave me an opportunity to delve, a bit more into that character. And, there's some very complex, nuanced reasons why he's that way. Coming up, when you're growing up in a period of time where there isn't really a black identity. Yeah. That has respect, that has agency, that has, when you're coming from a period of time where, we haven't always been like, yeah. When we first got here, bro, and, a couple of years after, in terms of like, I'm talking about Windrush.
Yeah, yeah.
There's generations of guys who were looking in the mirror going, I don't want to be black because of the fucking fuckery that is going on around that period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being in school when I was a child thinking, I don't want to be black. There's a funny meme and there's a funny little video. Have you seen that video with the little boy, American boy? He's like, I want to be white.
No.
And then his family's like, get the fuck out of it. You like, but like, I'm like, guys, like that was a real thing, man. Do you get what I mean? I'm Nigerian. Like we went through phases, bro. I remember not wanting to be African because at school you used to get mugged off.
I hear you. I hear. Yep. Yep.
I
Yep.
remember telling people I was from Rema in Jamaica.
Mm,
You get what I'm saying?
yep. Yep.
So, like, there's some very specific phases around that period of time. Yeah.
Mm,
And as coming from my generation, I'm very, very aware of them. I was there during those phases. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of the African man them now, they don't know how good they've got it.
Yeah.
What Afro beats?
Yeah.
What? What Wizkid? We never had that in my day. You get me? That's why when I go to certain raves, I'm there milking it. It's my time. Babi Dede, Balogun. You know what I mean? Now I'm all Nigerian. Now I'm back to Nigeria. But the bigger thing to understand is identity in it. Black identity. And that's what that play's about. This is a black man who's his whole life he hasn't really accepted he's black. He's tried to fit in, and now he's seeing the results. And that's what that plays about. Do you get what I mean?
No, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Like through this conversation, right? It's very clear that the path for you it looks like really big and really exciting, and just like only bigger things are gonna happen, right? Especially, I guess maybe a turning point is doing Death of England.
100%.
And I remember I was reading something, I think it was like your Guardian article, right? Where like you mentioned that despite all of these big things that you've done and are probably going to do in the future, you don't like to think about the magnitude of the things
Yeah.
that you do. And I just wanted to know, like, could you unpack that? Why is that?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think the reason for that, I think it's like, number one, yeah, in this industry, you've got to be very careful. You've got to be very careful with your ego. Yeah? Because it's especially as black people, yeah, the shit that we've gone through, shit we've experienced, yeah, and then all of a sudden, you're now, oh my God, all of these big things, you're amazing. You did that play, you did that TV show. Listen, no matter what I do, I'm still a human being. And when you start letting what you've done, your work, determine your self-worth, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with getting self-worth from it, an element of it. But when that becomes your main source of joy and validation, I think it's dangerous for actors. It's dangerous territory, because now you start thinking that because of what you've done, you're better than the next man. And what they've done means nothing. Yeah? That's one element of it. Second element of it for me is that it's a big mistake that a lot of actors make. And I'd say it again, a lot of black actors make it more. Let me change it. Not black actors, working class actors. And my thing is this, yeah? If you go to the National, the West End, and you start letting the magnitude of, oh, I'm in the West End, yeah? Then the story that you tell on that stage is not going to be true. Because you're doing, I'm in the West End storytelling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm
on the Olivier stage, oh my God. And then I come and see your show, and I'm going, why are you doing that with your voice? Why are you doing that? And then afterwards, and then I realize, oh, you're kind of doing an impression of what you think you need to do on the West End. Or at the National Theatre, or on the set for this big Netflix TV show, or on this Marvel film. Like, forget that. Those aren't the people that win the Oscars that do that. Those are the people that you watch, you go, next. Because you're just doing an impression of something you think you should be doing. Because you've got this idea in your head, oh my God, I'm at the RSC. Oh my God, I need to do this. I need to be good. Oh my God, I'm at the National. I need to be good. Yeah? Fuck the National. What? If it's not for us to get on that stage, then there is no National. How about that? If we don't get on that stage, the actors, and do the thing, there is no National, bro. How about that? There is no play. There is no audience to come. What are they going to watch? What, a blank space? I'm the thing. I mean, it sounds quite contradictory to me saying earlier on about letting it go to your head. But, you know, like, bro, you're going to do a one-man show, you need to gas yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I needed to convince myself that I was fucking Daniel Day-Lewis, or, you know, flipping the best. I had to, bro. I would have crumbled. I had to go there in my mind. I had to convince myself I'm the shit. Fuck. You know what I mean? F the national, F this stage, F this, I'm the shit. It's a mentality. It's not, I don't mean it literally.
Yeah.
Way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's like that self-talk. Before the show, G, I'll put on certain tunes that get me into that state. And I'll be thinking, I'll be walking up and down. Yeah. I'll do my walk. Sorry to get, I'm getting a bit carried away. I'll do my warm-up. You know what I mean? I'll be tensing in the mirror. Yeah. And then the woman knock on my door, I'll be like, oh, hello, thank you. And I walk out and my heart's beating really quickly. But that, I don't know what it is. It's got me over the thing in my head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and that thing I said about the magnitude of these places, it's like, don't let those places be bigger than you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying to you? The National Theatre, that stage, the Olivier stage. Why is it called the Olivier? Because Laurence Olivier probably did a mad thing on there one day. He's not here no more, but we are. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, don't let these institutions become bigger than you.
Yeah.
It's a really big thing. When you go on that set, whether it's Netflix, Amazon Prime, I don't care if you're working with Spielberg, he's human.
Yeah.
He's a human being. He ain't got nothing on you. Yes, he might know a bit more about this film thing. Then you learn and you listen. But don't ever put him above you, bruv. Don't ever go speak that. Oh, can I? Sorry, Steve. Move, man.
Do you know what? I love this, yeah, because as you're speaking, there's someone that's come into mind. It's Tosin Cole, right? When I see him, like act, and just in certain things, there's like this, and when we've interviewed him, yeah, there's this thing of that's what he does, where he's stopped trying to be. It's like, look, this is me.
Yeah.
This is my version of this.
Mate, and that's why he is so good at what he does. The best actors do that.
Yeah.
The best actors, for me, yeah, well, like, good acting for me, you know, accents, you know, all that stuff's great. You know, that's very impressive. But good acting is when you kind of surrender to the role, to the story, and to yourself. You know, the best actors, you know, the Daniel Kaluuyas, the Tosin Coles, the Tamara Lawrences, the Daniel Day-Lewises. Like, when you watch them, you get a sense of who they are as a person, as themselves. You get a sense of it because all they're doing is bringing themselves, their own soul, to this dynamic, and letting that cook.
Yeah.
Whereas you can make a mistake as an actor and go, I need to be someone else. Yeah, big mistake. Because now, I remember this teacher, when I was at drama school, his teacher, John, was like, if I ever go and see a show, and if I ever see any of you on the stage, and I can't see a bit of you, then like, you know, it's pointless. It's dead. Yeah? Because why do you think we like to go back to certain people? You know, Kaluuya. When you think of Daniel Kaluuya, right? You think of Black Mirror. You think of Get Out. You think of Judas and the Black Messiah. Yeah? And what is it about? What is it you can see in those three very different roles? Yeah? But there's something about him in there.
Yep.
And, you know, there's a passion, there's a fire. You know, there's a kind of like surrendering to this, to whatever's going on. You can see him in those roles. They're all different. Yeah. But there's something about his essence that is in there. Yeah. In all three of them, you know? And it's a similar thing to when you go, you know, you might go to a museum and you might see a Picasso painting. Yeah. And then you go to another museum and there's another Picasso, and you don't know why, but you're going, there's something about that painting that's in there. I can see it. I can't put it into words.
Yeah.
But I can see it. I can feel it. Or with music, you know, Kendrick, you listen to some Kendrick's albums, like Kendrick, you know what you're going to get with Kendrick. There's going to be a certain amount of depth to the music. There's going to be some very creative ideas that you think, fuck, I wish I had thought of that. You know, there's a surrendering that Kendrick does. Yeah. And the best actors can be themselves. The best artists bring themselves to the work. They bring themselves there. Do you get what I mean?
That's a quotable. I like that. I like that. Mate, there's nothing more to say. This is this has been amazing. It's been an experience and definitely not our last interview. But thank you, man. It's been amazing. It's been amazing.